resistance is futile.
Boldly going where no show has gone before. This is The Week in Geek with David D. Squared, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. Broadcasting from the Gregory Ricks and Associates Wealth Management Studios, here's D. Squared.
Greetings, people of Earth! This is The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. I'm your host, D. Squared. All right, let's lay out the show for you tonight. We got one guest, only one guest, but it is a kick-ass guest, Harry Lennix. You might remember him as Commander Locke from the Matrix trilogy or from Blacklist, but also he was General Swanwick, a.k.a. the Martian Manhunter, in the Snyder Cut. We're going to be talking to him tonight. We'll wrap up the show with him at around about 7:45. Yeah, 7:45 sounds good. But we'll kick it all off with top nerd news. We'll follow it up with a review. And look, hold on, wait, let me get this ready. We're going to do spoiler alerts. Not now, not now. This is just so you know. When you hear that sound, stop wailing, you stupid thing. So when you hear that, we're going to spoil the Snyder Cut Justice League. I just wrapped up the 4-hour marathon. It's good. It's good. It's 4 hours. Is it 4 hours good? I don't know. So stick around. We'll talk about that in the second or third segment. Scungy's pick of the week. But you know what? Let's bring on my boy Scungy. Scungy, what's shaking, bacon?
Not a whole lot, sir. How you doing today?
I am super fantastic. Thanks for asking. All right, so look, let's jump right into it. Before we get into the top nerd news, I got to lay out some housekeeping stuff. First and foremost, should we get depressed? No. All right, well, let's sort of get depressed. All right, well, look, all right, it's the elephant is in the room, as you said when we were calling and talking about the show. It's been a year since our friend Brian died. And look, it has been I can't believe it's been a year already. It has been one craptastic year, just, body blow after body blow. We've made it this far. The pandemic is still here, but we're getting vaccines, so there's light at the end of the tunnel. Eventually, maybe we'll have a con. It's looking like maybe in a couple of months. I think May or June, there's going to be one in Alabama. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, there's stuff on the horizon, but that's if everything stays par for the course. But I mean, look, we still have yet to grieve for the guy, and I think that has been the gut punch for all of us right now. That it's been a year, we have yet to have an Irish wake or any sort of funeral. So if anybody was out there worried that they might have missed something, no, because there hasn't been anything we can do. And so you can't gather in groups of like 20 or 30. And let's just be honest, we're going to need like an arena that holds like 500 people to celebrate this man's life. And so, look, I checked in with a lot of people, text everybody. I text everybody but you, Scungy, because I talk to you once a week. That's good enough, so we're good right there. But look, it has been a hell of a year. And I guess, there have been some things. And I think the thing that happened this week, which was some of the better news that we got in a long time, was that our show, we won a Louisiana Association of Broadcasters award. We won for Best Interview. And it's kind of crazy that, my boy's not here, that he's not here to share this stuff, because this is something that he and I, and yourself, Scungy, I would be dead wrong to not associate a lot of our success to you, sir. But not having him here, just, it's a big giant Brian holds size in your heart. But let's do this, because here was our really good news this week.
The next award is for radio for the best interview. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2021 best interview goes to Large Market, WRNO-FM, Henry Winkler on The Week in Geek with the D Squared.
Are you a Neil Diamond fan?
Yes.
Yes!
You know what? So many people will not admit that they are a Neil Diamond fan, and he called me up on stage. I can't sing. I really can't sing. I wish I could. I would come back as the boss if I could sing. And he called me on stage, and he wanted me to sing Song Sung Blue.
Oh, that's a great one.
I just started doing it as the Fonz because there was no way I was getting a note out of my throat.
And there you have it, Scungy. We won for Henry friggin' Winkler, man.
Dude, that was such a great interview. I mean, that was so on point.
The fun part with that interview was that we also had that other great interview with Jane Lynch, and I was tempted to put that in there, but it seemed like the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters were looking for something with a little more substance to it, and me and Jane Lynch playing, You Are the Weakest Link, Goodbye, I didn't know that fit the criteria, but with Henry Winkler talking about his childhood dyslexia, promoting children's literacy, I thought that had a better feel, and it was fun, and if you're not careful, you might learn something. And also, I got to give big props to WNOE Casey Carter. She won Best Radio Promotion of the Year, and our friends up in BR for the iHeart family, Bob Jody, they won their the Best Morning Show up there in Baton Rouge. So it was a great clean sweep for the iHeart crew, and honestly, not having Brian here to share it really sucked. But I mean, honestly, kind of talking about the year that was, honestly, dude, these are things that we haven't really talked about in public on the radio, was that, it was a hard year for a lot of people. There were a lot of layoffs, and, I'm lucky and thankful to still have my job. If it were not for Bob Murphy up in Baton Rouge, if it were not for Uptown Angela Watson, who put my name in the hat for the iHeart National Production Team, I don't think I'd still have a job. And so I can't ever properly thank them. And this award was a way for me to really kind of, be like, hey, look, your faith and trust in me, all I can do is here, I want us an award for WRNO, and it's a great thing, because it's just something that, that's all I can really do. I never sit here, Scudgy, and think that we're doing award-winning radio, because I'm not sure what kind of radio we're doing here. But, winning that award, I just, I wanted to thank everybody. It has been, a good way to sort of start the 2021 year. So, you know what? Let's do now, Scungy? Yellow.
What's that?
Yeah. And now, your top nerd news stories from around the world, brought to you by the Viridian Tea Company. Find them on Etsy. And now, your top nerd news stories. Go find Kimberly Richardson on Etsy, the Viridian Tea Company. Buy some tea. Calm down. I drink the tea, but I use the upper tea, not the downer tea. So, all right, topping us off in our top nerd news. Look, Resident Evil is getting a reboot. We talked about this. It was initially just called Resident Evil, but it is now going to be called Welcome to Raccoon City. But no, look, I dig it. And as much as I hate reboots, this is something I needed to sort of see rebooted, because the Resident Evil franchise, it was really cool with Mila Jovovich. I liked, a lot of the stuff they were doing, but it wasn't Resident Evil. It wasn't even close to being Resident Evil. It sniffed Resident Evil's butt and said, okay, it smells like this. Here, are you happy? And we were not
There
happy.
are zombies in it. There you go.
Right. So 6 spin-offs later, and they make $1 billion. But they're resetting it, and this is what I'm excited about, though. They are going to it's going to be set in 1998. The game was first put out in 1996, and Robbie Amell will play Chris Redfield. And Robbie Amell, Stephen Amell's less attractive brother, he is funny. He was in this Netflix movie where the babysitter's trying to kill the kid and, give his soul to the Dark Lord or whatever. And he just runs around playing Super Bro going, yeah, bro, you can't kill me. And Robbie Amell, there's something about the way the guy sort of comes across where I like Stephen Amell, but he's not funny. He's just kind of, he's got that one of those salmon bars.
Very stoic.
Yeah, he's got one of those salmon bars crammed up there, and Robbie does not. And so I'm excited about that, and it being set in Raccoon City, them also exploring the Spencer Mansion. Look, I think this will be a little bit more true to the game, and I hope it's got a little bit more suspense than just stupid, just zombies like, oh, pew pew pew. I want some sort of horror element in my Resident Evil, because that game scarred me for life. That's all. Is that too wrong?
I agree. The first movies were more they were more action films than they were horror films. I mean, the first two games, especially the second game, when I played the second game, I mean, I jumped. I literally jumped and dropped the controller at one point going like, what the hell just happened? I cannot wait to see what they do with this.
Now, you know what I can wait to see is the Ewok stories that are going to be making their way to Disney Plus. I guess the good part is Boba Fett's holiday special segment is going to be coming, and that's, you know, the Mandalorian, his gun, that's a direct homage to, you know, the heavy metal-esque cartoon that was in the Disney holiday special. But they are also going to have the two children being separated from their parents. I forget the name of the damn movie. It's so stupid. Like, Ewoks are little cannibalistic evil teddy bears. I don't know why people think they're so damn fluffy and cute. They're little primitive monsters with pointy little sticks. Just because they sell well in the holidays does not mean you want to be trapped on a planet full of, you know, cannibalistic teddy bears. I'm just saying. I don't know how those kids survived, but that will be available on Disney Plus. So there's that.
I've always said, if you look at the end of Jedi, they've got those Stormtrooper helmets
the bongos
all over the place, but there are no bodies.
Where did the corpses go? In their little cannibalistic teddy bear bellies. That's where the food. That's where they went. All right, moving on in top nerd news. Sad news, Scungy. Gotham Knights, which is going to be the successor to Arkham Knights, has now been pushed back to 2022. That's the one that was going to have the Robin. I know, right? Robin, Red Hood, Batgirl, and who was the other Robin? Whatever the hell the other third Robin is.
Nightwing.
Nightwing, thank you. How do I forget Nightwing? But, so that got pushed back, and I guess, honestly, this is still sort of because of the pandemic, but I still wonder when you see some of these games getting pushed back, if they're like, hey, y'all saw what Cyberpunk 2077 did? Let's not do that. Let's make sure we don't bow and cave in to the pressure of the fans, and let's make sure we put out a good product, not a, hey, here's a product, here's all the stuff you can buy, but the game is crap. Ta-da!
Well, hopefully, I mean, that's a good thing, though. I've said this a million times before. I would much rather wait for a good game than play a mediocre one.
Amen to that, sister. All right, finally, in our top nerd news, we finally have a release date for Loki. It's going to be premiering on June 11th, Scungy. June 11th, Loki makes his small screen debut, and this is another Marvel small screen endeavor, which looks really good. And when we come back, Scungy, because see, I'm doing this whole tease thing. When we come back, we're going to discuss Falcon and Winter Soldier, and we'll also discuss the Snyder Cut. So here, let me get this ready. When we come back, we'll be spoiling the Snyder Cut and Falcon and Winter Soldier. And I will say this much. I really want to see more in the way of serialized shows. I want to see more of that, because you see more character development. You get more invested in the show, and you don't have to sit there for 4 freaking hours looking at you, Zack Snyder. This is The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
Speak softly and carry a big smart device. Turn on your radio with your voice. Play News Talk 99.5 WRNO on iHeart Radio.
Are you suffering from live music withdrawals? Would you believe that New Orleans' best bands are being captured by a mad scientist, experimented upon mercilessly, and forced to play for their very lives? It's horrifying, but you can help. Sundays at 8 p.m. Tune in and enjoy groups of all styles on Escape from the Secret Lab, New Orleans' maddest weekly live game show. Watch it now, before it's too late.
Too late? It is already too late! Watch and learn at escapefromthesecretlab.com.
Box tea again? Why don't you try the tea blends from the Viridian Tea Company? They sell blends that are guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With blends like Quantum Mechanics, Caligula's Herbal Nerve Tonic, and Manta Ray Dreaming, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop at 432 North Anthony Street, or online at Etsy at the Viridian Tea Company. So put down the box and order some tea from the Viridian Tea Company today. Sincerely, your taste buds.
This is Captain Rex, troopers, and you're listening to The Week in Geek. Now move out.
Welcome back into The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. Now, as always, I want to strongly urge you to check out the Facebook page, facebook.com/The Week in Geek. Check out our website at twigradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at Twig Radio, and the Instagram's The Week in Geek. Hey, Scungy, how can people listen to this show?
Well, if you missed any part of tonight's show, or you want to hear your favorite part again, you can always find us on Spreaker.com or download Spreaker for your smartphone or tablet. We're also on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, and...
Don't you do it! Don't you do
the
it.
iHeart Radio app.
Very good. Thank you, sir. All right, here we go. All right, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. We are going to talk about the Zack Snyder Cut right now. The Zack Snyder Cut, the 4-hour extravaganza, which I just watched. I mean, I got here to the station at 5:30 because I started it at roughly noonish, and, you know, you have to at some point, you know, step away from a 4-hour freaking movie. But I will say this. It is a completely different movie. It is a completely different movie as far as when you look at what Ray Fisher and Cyborg did, what they did a little bit more with Barry Allen, The Flash. That not a whole lot, but they left some sort of inklings of weirdness that might happen in the future. But because this was, I don't know what to call it, you know, like I can't think of the word when somebody, you know, it's a passion piece, a passion piece. Well, like it was a passion project that he finally saw through to completion. And so I think there was just an urge by Zack Snyder to just cram everything in. But there was a lot more character development that you saw from Dr. Silas Stone, you know, and you see Cyborg's mother. So there was a lot of stuff going on in there, and that made it a little bit different. Then Darkseid showing up and in a few sort of like throwbacks, but also towards the end of the movie, he makes an appearance and he becomes the big bad. Kind of, remember how in the end of Justice League, or was it BVS, where you got, it was BVS, where you had Lex Luthor screaming, "The bell has been rung," you know, that stuff. Yeah. It makes a little bit more sense. They explained more about the mother boxes, why Steppenwolf was the way he was, because he was trying to get back in Darkseid's good graces. But did I need it? I'm not sure. I'm not sure that I needed it. All right, what you got? What you got, man?
Well, I have two main questions about this.
Okay.
Number one, did you actually watch the original one before watching this one to like refresh yourself? And the original runtime of Justice League is 2 hours.
Yeah.
So going from 2 to 4 hours, I mean, was there really that much that needed to be added?
Well, no, well, yeah, I guess, because honestly, when Justice League was just a travesty, okay? And there wasn't a whole lot of, character building. And then with the racism charges with Ray Fisher, watching this movie, that kept popping in my head. Cause look, we interviewed Joe Morton, a month or so ago? And I point blank asked him, I'm like, do you think that there was some racism on there? And he said, I didn't personally experience, but he goes, if Ray said it happened, it happened. And when you see this new Snyder Cut, somebody was pissed at Ray Fisher because they cut all the Cyborg stuff out, because this was more of a Cyborg movie than it was like a Batman movie. There was a lot of differences to it. Now, I will say this to give it a big punch in the nether regions. DC is so damn depressing, Scungy. Oh my God. Like the first 30 minutes was nothing but sad music, sad people, and it was just wholly depressing. Even when they were trying, when Wonder Woman is saving the little schoolgirls and they're trying to blow up whatever Parliament building or something, even the fight music was depressing. Like, I honestly stopped and I kind of looked at Dean and my mother-in-law. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, I really didn't know it was just so sad and depressing. It's like, it's almost as if DC and Warner Brothers just have to remind you that they are a dark, brooding, depressing universe. And that is probably the worst part. But once you get past that first hour hump, the final 3 hours were actually pretty good. There was a lot more with the building, because this was, I don't think this would have worked in the theater to do their whole shared universe, because they were trying to do the MCU thing. This would have worked, but it was way too damn long. And I go back to what I said in the first segment, where I want to see more serialized stuff, because this would have been better done in a week-by-week release on the smaller screen. I don't care what they say about, oh, it's meant to be seen on the big screen. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's CGI and it's green screens. I can happily watch that on my little boob tube and not have to pay whatever the hell. I don't even know how much movie tickets cost anymore, because I forgot that movie theaters exist right now. But
$100.
Probably so. $150 if you want to bring 20 people over to the AMC. So, well, I shall tease that later. But on the whole, though, it was a different movie, and at the end of it, it did remind me a lot of Return of the King, Lord of the Rings, the final one, where it had like 8 endings with a bunch of hobbits jumping on the bed, and, you know, old Aragorn and even older, what's her name? It was just like, oh my God, what am I watching? Can we just go pee now? And that's all I kept doing for the final like 20 minutes of the Snyder Cut. But I will say this, the nightmare scenario, I don't know what the hell they were doing. I think that was just another, I really love this, so I'm going to put it in my flick kind of thing. Jared Leto as the Joker, I'll leave it at this. It was better. He played a better Joker. I believed him that he was a Joker, but I think he was struggling for his Joker voice, because it smacked a little bit of Mark Hamill. You know, I mean, Mark Hamill is the Joker in everybody's mind, but I don't think he knew which Joker he wanted to be, and I think he was trying to find a Joker, and it didn't come off very well. So Batman dropped an F-bomb, and my kid cursed in school, and I'm going, God dang it, man! Like, I'm on the radio, I ain't been dumped yet on the air, and my kid dropped that SH bomb at school, because, well, I'm watching these movies, and they said it, and then Batman drops an F-bomb. I swear, man. All right, moving.
Well, if Batman did it, it's okay.
Batman was also carrying a gun too, and he's like, Dad, I didn't think Batman carried guns. I'm like, he doesn't. I don't know, stupid Snyder. All right, so finally, before we go to break and do Scungy's pick of the week, all right, Scungy, Falcon and Winter Soldier. The first episode seemed like it was really just a lot of world building, because, Falcon had gone away, and so had Winter Soldier, and now it's like the Winter Soldier is like like he's in an perpetual AA meeting. He has to go around and apologize and make amends for stuff he did as Winter Soldier. How do you go up to somebody and be like, hey, look, I was brainwashed working for the damn commies, and I might have killed your loved ones, or they might have just been in the wrong place, wrong time, or, your husband worked for Hydra, and I had to, blow his brains out. My bad. How do you make amends for that? But whatever. I like kind of what they're doing with Bucky. It's interesting. And then, of course, with Falcon, I was actually more moved than I thought I would be by his giving the shield up and saying, look, it doesn't feel like it's mine. And, Captain America going, yeah, it is, Chris Evans saying, yeah, no, it's yours. But I was more moved by it than I actually thought I would, because it was, he doesn't want to be Captain America. He doesn't feel like he should be Captain America. And, I like that little thing in the beginning. So that kind of brings us to this, though, Scungy. At the end, and wait, here you go. Let's do this. Spoiler alert for the Falcon and Winter Soldier. We have the new Captain America is announced, and this like dude with a busted up nose. He looks like U.S. agent. He's carrying Captain America's shield, completely new uniform. But as soon as he hit the stage, Scungy, this is what I heard. America, America. yeah, sorry, I had to bleep that.
I absolutely agree.
He looks like a jackhole. I mean, he's got this big schnoz, and he just looks like you just want to punch him. He just looks like somebody you want to punch. And look, I don't know. I think he's John Walker, a guy who plays him as Wyatt Russell. I mean, this is a storyline back in the 80s, but I did dig the costume. And I think he's supposed to have a punchable face. I think you're supposed to hate this guy right out the gate because it should be Falcon, but it's not. And we don't have Captain America anymore. Now we got some stumbling, bumbling buffoon who just happens to wear a shield. And I don't know, the new United States government said, this is our guy because we need it for a new age. And that sucks. And I think that's going to be a fun storyline to explore throughout the season.
I completely agree. And the one thing that I like about this show, opposed to the other stuff, I mean, Winter Soldier is my favorite standalone Marvel film. And the reason is, with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they're not superheroes. They're just soldiers. So they've got very relatable stories. I mean, Winter Soldier, Bucky's going through PTSD, and Falcon's going through trying to pay his bills. So it's very relatable.
That was, oh my God, I can imagine pretty much damn near every American going through what he had to go through at the bank, you know? And if you are a quasi-celebrity, the guy's like, oh, I loved you, man. Here, let me get a selfie. Yeah, no, I can't give you no money. Sorry, but hey, can I get another selfie? It's like, man, I'm going to knock the taste out your mouth. Get away from me. But I like where they're going, and this is why I think the Snyder Cut would have been better served if they would have done it more serialized, because there wasn't a whole lot of cliffhangers in the whole Zack Snyder thing. You already kind of saw what was going on, but there was too much story to tell. And at that point, they should have stepped back. Warner Brothers and Zack Snyder been like, you know what? Let's make a serialized version of this, because the movie he wanted to tell was too epic. And I guess that's a compliment of sorts. It was too epic. And now what we're seeing, what Marvel is now, just sucker punching everybody. I mean, if you ever made a sitcom in the 80s, Marvel has just walked up and been pop. Take that, Urkel, you little punk. And they're like, we're going to give you something better. And we're all like, yes, give us something more. We want more.
Well, originally, the Justice League movie was supposed to be two movies. So I think it would have been better off, kind of like Infinity War was. Yeah. It would have been better off split up at least into two movies. That way you could have had that cliffhanger and let you digest half of it before going into the second half.
There you go. All right, when we come back, we'll do Scungy's Pick of the Week. Stupid new Captain America, bleep you! Wow, they curse a lot. This is the Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO.
Pro Se Productions is a leading independent publisher on the cutting edge of new pulp and genre fiction today. At Pro Se Productions, you'll find fiction featuring fast-paced action and adventure, larger-than-life protagonists, over-the-top characters, and tight yet extravagant plots. Pro Se specializes in prose books, anthologies, audiobooks, and more. Go to prose-press.com to find our monthly release schedule and more info about our great titles. Pro Se Productions is your first-rate publisher of new pulp fiction today.
Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop invites you to browse their specially curated collection at tubbyandcoos.com. While the store at 432 North Anthony Street may be closed for browsing, you can order online and have it shipped directly to you, or stop by for porch pickups. Follow them on social media for updates and virtual events at Tubby & Coos on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So toss a coin to your bookkeeper and help Tubby & Coos, the nerd mecca, survive the pandemic and 2020. Go to tubbyandcoos.com today.
Hello, this is Seb Aurelios from Star Wars Rebels, and you're listening to The Week in Geek. Stay tuned, otherwise I'm gonna bash you like I bash those bucketheads.
Welcome back into The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. I am your host, D Squared. You know, and I am completely remiss. I absolutely have to thank my program director, Jeremy Porcine, because he leaves me alone. He lets me do this show, and he gave me a high five in an email. I didn't even know you could do that, Scungy. He gave me a high five in an email. But Jeremy's my boy, man. Look, he trusts me. He lets me do my thing down here, and that is awesome and rare to find in someone. All right, Scungy, you ready?
Yeah.
Scungy's Pick of the Week.
I am not what you would call a handsome man.
I love lamp.
Scungy's Pick of the Week.
He might be an idiot savant.
Might be. All right, Scungy, do you have 2 picks? Because I really rained on your parade last week and kind of punked you out. My bad, but what you got this week?
No worries. And also to let you know, it is a phone 5 is what you call a high five through the phone.
Oh, yes, right. I forgot. No, it's an email high five. It's really weird. The first time I got one, I was like, what the hell is this? But it's a new COVID world, man. High five. Slap hands, fellas. All right, shut up. Tell me your pick of the week.
So the first one I got is a board game called Nemesis.
Nemesis? Right? Is it like Resident Evil Nemesis?
Not like Resident Evil.
Okay.
But still scary.
All right.
So this is a board game. Now, I talked about it like maybe a year or two ago when we were doing our picks for the holidays. This particular game is a game that's made by Awaken Realms. Now, this board game company is one of the most thematic companies around. Every game that they make is just, they're a little pricey, but they're oozing with theme and they're very story-driven. This particular game is long and short of it, it's Aliens, the board game.
Like now, game over, man. Put the girl in charge. Game over,
game
man.
over.
Okay, cool. I like that.
You're on this ship that is on its way to Earth. Now, the cryogenic sleep wakes you up because the ship is malfunctioning. And in the room that you're in, you find a corpse. You're like, okay, there's a corpse. So you have to go through the ship. Now, every person who plays it, every person who's playing, there's a mode to play. It's basically semi-cooperative, which is you're trying to work together because you have to, fix the ship.
Okay.
But your objective might be different than somebody else's objective. Now, you go through this ship and you're trying to do things like repair the engines or whatnot. Eventually, you're going to run into what they call the intruders, which are these aliens. And they're xenomorphs, basically, long and short of it.
But all right, so it's not like awful green things from outer space, right? No?
Yeah, no, they are xenomorphs.
Okay, so they're scary.
And
okay.
you're going to have to fight them or run away from them or whatnot. It's very tense because every time you walk into a new room, you have to roll this dice, which is a noise dice, where you make noise when everything you do. So the more noise you make, the more likely the xenomorphs are going to come and try to catch you or go to where you are as opposed to where somebody else is.
Sorry, I fart when I'm nervous.
Exactly. You got this whole tense thing. Now, where the semi-cooperative part comes in is, like I said, you're trying to go through together and you're trying to do all this work together. Like, hey, let's work this ship together. But you get an objective card. Now, your objective card might be, hey, kill the other people and get the ship to Mars.
Okay.
Or you could be, hey, make sure everybody survives and get the ship to Earth.
Yeah, well, good luck on that. I don't want that card.
You have a time track as the game's going on that you have to follow. That will eventually the escape pods will open up halfway through the game.
Oh.
Halfway through the game, and so you can jettison. So you're trying to get away. Sometimes you have to get away with an alien egg. You don't know what your objective is going to be until you start playing it. So halfway through the game,
like,
you're like
the House on Haunted Hill sort of thing.
Kind of like Betrayal on House of the Hill. Yes.
House on Haunted Hill.
As you're playing through, sometimes hey, you've gotten in this room that's on fire. You know what? I'm going to lock that room. I'm going to lock you in that room, and you're going to die. You're like, what the hell? So you have no idea. You're thinking, oh, he's coming to help me, and no, he's not.
My savior. Oh, crap. That's awesome.
So that is the
all right. So
it's very Among Us.
So yeah. All right. So, but I mean, it's like you don't know what your objective is, though. So it's like, and nobody else knows your objective.
Nope. Nobody else knows you. You know your objective. And at certain point of the game, you get 2 objectives at the beginning of the game.
Okay.
And at certain point of the game, when you first have your first encounter with I'm going to say xenomorph,
right.
Intruder, xenomorph. When you come there, you choose which objective you're going to pick. So you can say, like, I'm closer to here, I'm going to take this. So, hey, I'm going to be nice and take this objective. Or, no, I'm going to be a prick and take this objective. But nobody else knows what it is.
Okay.
So at that point, you're out for yourself. So, like I said, very thematic, very different gameplay every time you play. It's Aliens in a box. It's so well done. I absolutely love this game.
All right, price, and where can you get it?
Well, you're going to have to order it online. The price for it ranges depending on where you get it. It's going to be between $80 and $100.
Dang, man, why you got to bring me such expensive stuff, bro? I'm cheap, man.
I understand that, but
Stop
it's still, look, trust me, it's worth it. It's worth it for that $80 or $100 because you get so much replayability out of it, and you can play it solo.
Oh, really? That's awesome because I have no friends, and that is great. All right, so tell me. I'm sorry. I'm literally looking up on eBay Awful Green Things from Outer Space because now I want to play that instead.
I love that game. That was one of my favorites.
I have a copy. I just don't know where the hell it went. I don't know if Katrina ate it or not. I don't think so, though. All right. Okay, so how much again? Wasn't paying attention.
It's going to be between $80 and $100, and you could probably go to your friendly local gaming store and see if they can order it for you first before you go online, because we always want to support our local business.
This is why I keep you
might have to
around.
go on.
This is why I keep you around. Good on you, Scungy, because actually, look, Mac over at Go for Games, I'm working on a commercial for them. They didn't get to me the script until late last night, and I just haven't had time to do it because I had to watch the 4-hour extravaganza from Zack Snyder. But they are going to be moving in April. They're going to be getting some new digs. The Gopher Goblin found them a new spot over there on West Napoleon and Transcontinental. So go for
the Napoleon Plaza.
Yes. I don't know how that ugly ass little sign of Napoleon has survived for so many decades over there, but it's still there. It survived Katrina and everything else. But that's where Mac and Go for Games are going to be moving, and so we'll start running some commercials as soon as I get around to making said commercial. So good on you, Scungy, and I think freaking. Plus One Gaming, I think they're moving too. It's like
they are moving. They're moving just on the other side of Clearview on West Napoleon as well.
Fight! That'll be awesome. That'll be great.
Dude, they need to do it
tonight. Jeremy of Plus One Gaming, Mac of Go For Games. They fight it out to the death. One will stand, one will fall. Gaming on Entertainment Tonight. All right, I'm sorry. Okay, all right. Sorry. I just, when you're a jet. I don't know what it is. I want to see musical fighting. It's just a thing. I'm sorry. All right, Scungy, we only got a couple more minutes before we go to Harry Lennix, his interview talking about Martian Manhunter and also Commander Locke. Dude, it was such a fun interview. This guy was so cool, and he's working on something up in Chicago. So he's a Chicago native.
Chicago.
He's a Southie. So look, real quick, we only got a minute or two. You had a video game pick of the week. What was it, real quick?
It's a game called Hades. It's out on the Switch and PC. It is a roguelike dungeon crawl. So think Diablo, where you're going through and constantly hacking and slashing. But it's roguelike, so you're going to die all the time. But as you go through the dungeon, you get upgrades and stuff that you can improve your character, so you can go back through again. But the whole premise of it is you're the son of Hades, and you're trying to get out of hell, and you're trying to and you have the Olympian gods who are sitting there going like, oh, here, I'm going to give you a boon. So Apollo or, Athena is like, here, have this. And as you go through, you're trying to get there. They don't want you in Hades. They want you out. But Hades, your father, is like, no, you need to stay. It's an unbelievable story. I've played this game. I just got it on Friday. I've already played it for over 12 hours. And That's, for me, that's a lot in that short amount of time. It's so much fun. It's so rewarding.
So it's Little Nicky the game? Is that what it is? Little Nicky the game?
Yeah, except the guy gets like big swords and bows and, a bunch of like fighting big monsters.
All right. All right, we got to go to break. Scungy, I'm not going to fire you this week. Have a great weekend, buddy. I'll talk to you, I don't know, whenever the hell I talk to you, pal. Later. Yeah. All right, coming up next, Harry Lennix, the Martian Manhunter from the Zack Snyder Cut, but also Commander Locke. He's also on the Blacklist, which is in its 9th or 8th season now. Harry Lennix coming up next right here on The Weekend Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO. What do you get the nerd who has everything? A gift card from D4 Tabletop Gaming Cafe, and let them figure it out. D4 Tabletop Gaming Cafe at 8228 Oak Street is open for the holidays, so head over and check out their expanded inventory of miniatures and miniature paints, board games, RPGs, TCGs, or you can reserve a table for your next game night. Find them on Facebook at D4 Tabletop Gaming Cafe, or go to their location at 8228 Oak Street, just 2 blocks off of Carrollton, or go to their website at d4cafe.biz.
In From the Storm, fanzine highlights Black female characters in comics and sci-fi. The fanzine is for and by Black women, featuring original artwork, interviews, and cultural criticism. As Black women fans, we have unique perspectives that are often silenced and discouraged in mainstream outlets. In From the Storm is a shelter from the storm, a place for Black women to gather, learn, and discuss our Black female nerddom. Find them at infromthestormzine.com or at In From the Storm on Facebook.
Hey, this is Booker T, WWE Hall of Famer, and you're listening to The Weekend Geek on WRNO. Now, can you dig that, sucker?
Welcome back into The Weekend Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. I'm your host, D Squared. Let's go to the guest line. You might remember him as Commander Locke from the Matrix trilogy, Harold Cooper from the Blacklist, and now from the Snyder Cut Justice League, General Swanwick, the Martian Manhunter. Actor, director, and cultural conservationist Harry Lennix joins us. Harry, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm great. I'm happy to be with you, D-Squared. Thank you.
Look, man, let's jump right into everything. The Snyder Cut is out now. You played General Swanwick, and all the buzz is now the Martian Manhunter. Now, supposedly, this wasn't the original role they had in mind for you, huh?
Well, I was certainly surprised. I'll tell you this. I can't be inside another man's head, but as I'd like to tell people, Zach is really good at surprising me. And, to get a call one day out of the blue, more or less, 10 months ago, or whatever it was now, and to say, hey, you're going to be part of this team, this league. I was over the moon, and I'm a big fan of his, and so proud to be in this great new movie that people will get a chance to see starting today.
Yeah, this is exciting. It's not often that a director gets a second shot to, try to realize their vision. That doesn't always happen very often.
No, it very, very rarely happens. I don't know if it's ever happened at this level, where the fans literally created a campaign and this came to life. And I think it just goes to show the power that the people have when they decide that they want something, that they can bring that to life. It's really quite instructive. And I think that it may happen more now that door opened.
No, that's a great point, because now, you can see when all people pull together in one direction, the things that they can accomplish. Harry Lennix is our guest. In the Matrix trilogy, Commander Locke, there was something about your character that it's like he was supposed to be the bad guy. And I don't know if it was the direction they gave you, but your character, and I love the humanity of that character, because you weren't a bad guy. You were a very practical man trying to deal with practical problems, and you had Morpheus out there going, take the red pill, take the blue pill. Was that sort of your take, or the director's takes towards you for that?
Well, in many ways, it was what was on the page. I think that the Wachowskis are very, very smart people. There was something on the page, where it says, he says, it was true, something of this nature, when he actually sees the machine stop, their attack, their invasion of Zion. He comes to believe. And so in the Bible, in the book of John, I think it is, there's a Roman centurion that is guarding the Temple Mount, and at the moment where Christ is brought into heaven, so to speak, where he dies on the cross, the temple, the curtain rips in two, and he says, the Roman says, surely this man was the Son of God. And it's that kind of moment of revelation, if you will, that I think Locke is always wanting to believe, but he doubts. And at this point, he no longer has reason to doubt. And I think if that story had continued, his storyline, that he would be one of the great defenders of Neo. And so I always look at it that way, that it's almost biblical. It's quasi-religious in some way.
We're visiting with Harry Lennix. Now, when I introduced you, cultural conservationist is one term I use for you. You are currently working on the African American Museum for Performing Arts. And look, as a New Orleanian down here, every block you trip over a museum. And this is something that you are working on, trying to put a spotlight on Black excellence. Tell the folks about the African American Museum of Performing Arts, sir.
Thank you for asking about it. That's something that I am very proud to be sort of at the helm of. But this is really not about me as much as it's about, as you say, the collective history. That is frankly, the only original art form, if you will, to the United States have been brought here by Black people. The dance, the music, that kind of thing is really unique to this people. The other stuff came from Europe and other places throughout the world, but this was homegrown. And by combining these kind of traditions, we've been able to create something which is unique to us, and I believe that needs a home. So, when you think of what's on the south side of Chicago, there's not, in terms of the culture, there's not a whole lot anymore. A lot of that's gone away over the years of neglect and people ignoring it. But we can bring it back and restore its former glory. I had all kinds of wonderful organizations that I could go to when I was a kid to practice this art. So we want to bring from all over the country the best theater, the best dance. We want to give a home to those places, those organizations that are already there in Chicago that they've been moving around for years. They don't have a home. And so they're one of the companies that we're going to give a home to is the Congo Square Theater Company. I'm on the board there, and they've been around for 20 years and been moving around. So we want to make this effectively like the Lincoln Center of the Performing Arts, where they gave a central location to some great organizations such as New York Philharmonic, the Metropolitan Opera, Juilliard School, all of this. So we want to do the same thing. We believe that we know there's the need, and we believe that we have the capacity to do it right there where much of this art was born.
Harry, I only got like 30 seconds left, but are you ever going to be coming down to New Orleans? Because I know you're trying to get a mass collective of the arts from across the country. And here in New Orleans, obviously, we are Congo Square, but these immersive things that y'all want to do with the museum, like the World War II museum exhibit, like the immersiveness, but we got Preservation Hall, the Ashe Cultural Center. Are you ever going to be coming down here? Because I think New Orleans bounce music needs to be in there, but that's just my personal opinion.
Well, we'll make sure that we put it in there. I'm in New Orleans a lot. I have family out there in St. John Parish, St. John the Baptist Parish. I love them, and those are my cousins. So I come down quite a bit, and you better believe it. I'll come down there, and we'll bring some of that bounce music right to Chicago.
I'm loving it. Harry, thank you so much for your time today. I wish you all the success in the world and good work on getting the AAMPA up and running, sir. Have a great day.
Thank you, D-Squared.
That is Harry Lennix, man. This guy was a treat. I could have kept talking to him, man. The suck part sometimes about these interviews is they only give you like 7 to 8 minutes, and you have no idea how quickly that goes by. And, there's so many things that he's doing that I wanted to talk to him about, but you only have so much time. But I will say this. It was great seeing him in the Snyder Cut. It was a real surprise because that was something that they added in there. And I think that was really Zack Snyder trying to add more to that DC universe where, man, look, I love Marvel, but I also love DC. And I wish Warner Brothers could get their big screen stuff together because it just has not been there. It has not been, to the quality of the comic books, the storylines. And I think they get so immersed and messed up in tone that they forget about the history of some of these characters. And there's so much you can do, but it's always like the low-hanging fruit, man. And they still have yet to get Superman right. I mean, yay, we got the black suit. That was cool and all, but come on. I I don't need that kind of visual fan service. I want to see more in-depth stuff. And now we're kind of I don't know what they're going to do after this, now that they've sort of set up the entirety of the Justice League. Will they make more? I don't know. Honestly, I hope they try to do and take a page out of Marvel's playbook and start serializing some of this stuff, and maybe they'll have a better shot, because I don't feel so great about the Flash movie. I don't know. I just don't like the character or the actor that plays the Flash. So, there you go. All right, let's get the heck out of here. As always, we want to strongly urge you to check out the Facebook page, facebook.com/The Week in Geek. Check out our website at twigradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at twigradio. The Instagram's The Week in Geek. All right, and check out the podcast on Spotify, Spreaker, the iHeart Radio app. Once again, thank you to the Louisiana Association of Broadcasters for this honor, the best interview for 2020 with my man, the Fonz, Henry Winkler. Congrats to Casey Carter and Bob Murphy as well. iHeart WRNO. Till next time. Oh, wait, I got Aidan Gillen, Littlefinger from Game of Thrones. I'm interviewing him. He'll be on next week's show. Till next time, keep your nerd flag raised high.
Catch News Talk 99.5 WRNO FM New Orleans anywhere on our free iHeart Radio app.